us right now is one game, and we need to play our best game of the year in this game, and it's going to be needed because this is one of the best offenses we've played all season. So I'm looking forward to that. I think our players will play really well.
When you're facing a quarterback, a veteran quarterback like this, who has been through it all, has been in the playoff game, as a defensive coordinator, obviously you're going up against their offensive coaches, but a quarterback like that, right? He's so in control on the field. Is there anything you do as a coach that's different when a quarterback has that much experience and you're trying to deal with him as opposed to maybe a younger guy?
Well, there's the old axiom that you blitz the young guys and you cover the experienced guys. I've never really bought into that. I think you have a game plan. We have disguise built into our defense. But you're not going to fool a guy with that much experience. He understands their offense more than anything. They've run a similar offense his whole career, but Coach Peterson has run it at Boise and all through, so they know that offense inside and out. And this player has run it for 4 years, so there's not much you're going to slip by him. It's about execution. It's about one-on-one matchups. You're going to have to win one-on-one battles, and they're going to be competitive one-on-one battles. So there's a reason they're in this game, just as there's a reason we're in this game.
Just Chris Peterson, what you know of getting ready for Washington this game, just in the coaching business, why has he been as successful as he has been? Obviously, Urban is a guy who's had so much success, but Chris Peterson's one of the best coaches in college football.
Chris is, and I've known Chris for some time now, and are friends. He's not only an excellent coach, but he's a really great person, and has done an incredible job wherever he's coached. His programs, he's one of the guys, if you had a son, you'd like him to play for Chris. He's that kind of guy, and he's that kind of coach. So it's going to be a huge challenge.
You know better than we do what's going to happen next year, but as a safe argument that becomes a defensive coordinator, what kind of job do you think?
Oh, I'm not going to deal in hypotheticals. I'm not going to get into that. He's an excellent coach. Let's stick to the here and now.
You've been a part of some of the biggest games across all levels of football, dating back to your time at Penn State. You know what this game's all about. What does it mean for you to be part of the Rose Bowl game?
Well, there's a reason they call it the granddaddy of them all, and I think it's, especially in my generation, you grew up watching this game, and it's so special. I think our players appreciate that. I think Coach Meyer's done an excellent job of conveying to them the history and tradition that goes with this game. But you're right, I was out here in the 90s, and it was an incredible game, an incredible event, an incredible week. And we've been here for a few days now, and it's very, very similar. It's really an awesome thing to be a part of.
Greg, I think there's a perception with Browning, that he had a really good sophomore season. They made the playoff, and then he's kind of, maybe it's on the West Coast, but he's kind of drifted out of the national scene a little bit. When you look at him, where does he rank in terms of quarterbacks that you guys face and talent level and whatnot?
Well, he's very talented. I think one of the things is his production has dipped from that playoff year. But you got to look at surrounding cast back then. He had some incredibly fast wideouts. He has good people around him now, but I don't know if they are all at that experience level where they were that year. When you have a special year like they did back then, when you go to the playoff, a lot of things click. So, but when I look at him as a quarterback, he's an outstanding quarterback. He understands, as I said earlier, their scheme very, very well, and he appears to really understand what defenses are doing. So you're not going to trick him. You're going to have to go out and out-execute him, and that's what we hope to do.
Greg, I just wanted to ask one local guy question. There's a lot of preseason talk about Dallas Gant being impressive. What do you like about Dallas, and what do you see for him in the future?
Dallas is going to be a really, really good football player here. He is a very, very bright guy, physically gifted as well, but really, really sharp. Has done a good job in what we've asked him to do in special teams. Understands linebacker play, is getting better and better his understanding of it. I think that another off-season program, and he's going to fit right into the mix in next year.
Greg, what does it mean just to the group of Draymond announcing he's leaving, but still play? Everybody expected Joey. Well, they got
that came out of the hat before he even got to announce it. Coach Meyer, but he still played in that Fiesta Bowl. Of course, he didn't play very long. But I mean, what does it mean, I guess, to the group to have a guy like Draymond stick around and still play? Because that's not the around the nation. Quite a few guys are stepping out.
Well, you're right on that. First of all, it's huge because he's such a good player. That's number one. And then I think, you know, from the standpoint of the brotherhood, I think the players really appreciate, his teammates appreciate him coming out and playing, and I think Draymond will be a force.
Do you understand the discussion of when guys do decide to sit out? I mean, the game has changed a little bit, the way things work, and guys are thinking about their futures. How does a coach view that when guys make that decision?
I think that's an individual choice. The game hasn't changed yet. Like I don't buy that.
Does the context change? Does the world around it change?
I think that's what's changed. And I think you could say that for our whole society. I don't think it's isolated to football or anything else. But I do think that is an individual choice, and I don't get into trying to live someone else's life. I think they need to make the decision that they think best suits their life, just as I have to make those decisions. You have to make them. We all do.